You're locked in to Fran Harris's Women's Basketball TV with WNBA champion, NCAA champion, sports announcer, and entrepreneur, Fran Harris. So buckle up, Buttercup. Here's the show.
Well, this is a conversation that must be had. Now, I pride myself on creating a channel where the people who stop by here take out precious time in their day, that you are fans of the game, you have your favorites, you're intelligent, you want to talk about things that are not always just the surface stuff that everybody's talking about. You're willing to have a decent conversation between humans, people you know, people you don't know. That's how I see y'all. That's what I see in my comments. For the most part, everybody's civil, respectful, opinionated, love all of that. For the most part, there's very minimal disrespect in my comments, and I appreciate y'all for that, because I want to create a world that I want to live in. I want to create a world that I love my nieces and nephews who play basketball, that they can thrive in, that the people I love and like, fans all over the world, can enjoy the game. So I try to co-create that environment on my channel. Occasionally, you know, some stupidos will stop by and say something, but for the most part, we kind of sanitize what happens here, because we're not looking to create an environment where people think that rudeness and stupidity and sexism and racism and discrimination and all the other isms that's welcomed here, because it is not. And every now and then I have to remind people who stop by here that this is what this is about. I will sacrifice viewership, comments, likes. I will sacrifice all of that for a world that is humane and civil and respectful, period. Now, that's my introduction for what we're about to have, a tough conversation. We're about to have a tough conversation, y'all. So last week, I'm hanging out with some friends of mine in Austin, Texas, and it's like 7 or 8 of us watching the game, right? Men, women, white, black, brown, yellow, red, white, and blue people. I mean, it's a very diverse group of folks. And something happens in the game. I won't say who the players were, but I will say one was black and one was white. And this individual, when a black player made a move, did something, it got kind of physical, this individual said something like, "That's just a thug move." I turned to that, because we're all friends, by the way. Let me say that. We're friends. These are not acquaintances. We're friends. I trust my life with these people. They trust their life with me. So this person says this. She happens to be white. And I turn to her and I say, "Don't ever say that again." She said, "What?" "It was." I said, "Don't ever say that again." 2 seconds later, literally 2 or 3 seconds later, a white player, who shall remain nameless, makes a move very similar, does something retaliatory, very similar. And this person said, "She's a brat." Now, if you're paying attention here, same move, one move by the black player, one move by the white player. The black player got called a thug. The white player was called a brat. Oh, it was on. It was on and popping at that point. I said, "Hold up. Pause the TV." No, everybody's like, "No, we don't want to talk. We don't want to, you know, because these are my peeps and they know me." So I'm like, "Nah, we're not getting away with this." I'm like, everybody's in this conversation. Y'all just saw this. This is not me operating in a silo. Y'all are here. All of you are here. You heard exactly what I heard. You witnessed exactly what I witnessed. You're sitting right here. This is a case study right here of what's going on in this world right now. Same move, identical, swinging of the arms, identical. And one player did it, the black player, when the black player did it, she was referenced as it was a thug move. When the white player did it, it was like, "She's such a brat." It was almost like playful. And I went, "What?" So we had that conversation, y'all, right there in that room. You want to talk about, hell, it wasn't uncomfortable for me. This is my life. I've been a black woman all my life. I've been a black woman with white friends all my life. So I'm having these conversations, much to my friends, my black friends and my white friends' chagrin. They are like, "Ugh, here we go." because that's the world I want to live in. This ain't the world I talk about on a YouTube channel. This is the world that I'm living daily. It's your girl, Fran Harris, former WNBA champion with the Houston Comets. It is finally here. Yes, the first novel set in the world of the WNBA. And it's got all the good stuff. It's got love, romance, true crime, forgiveness, redemption, all the stuff you love to see in great novels. If you love Terry McMillan and Waiting to Exhale, if you love Eric Jerome Dickey and all his madness, then you will love Houston by Morning. It's a story of 4 characters, a baller, an agent, a television personality, and a coach. And the way their lives collide into one another is a beautiful mess. Pick up a copy now on Amazon Kindle or at HoustonByMorning.com. Peace! And so when there's an opportunity for us to have a conversation, an important conversation, yeah, I don't care how uncomfortable it makes people. I don't care how uncomfortable it makes me. Because these are conversations that must be had. It's easy for people to spew racism and hate and sexism and misogyny and discrimination and otherism online because they will never see the people that they're talking to. And people get very bold and very brash when they don't have a chance of ever walking down the street and seeing you. Less than 1% of the people who talk shit online would never talk shit if I walked up to them. Ever. Ever. So when this conversation happened and we had the opportunity to sit there as adults, as lovers of women's basketball, as fans of women's basketball, longtime friends, understanding, recognizing that there's stereotypes that we all have. Absolutely. But there is a difference when you perpetuate a stereotype and nobody calls you out on it. So we're sitting here again amongst friends. I stopped the television, stopped the game, and everybody's looking around like, shit, right? I'm like, no, I'm glad this came out. I'm glad this happened. Let's talk about it. How are you calling person X, player X, a thug move, making her behavior a thug move? And person Y over here, she's bratty. And it was just silent. So the friend who said that was like, it was a thug move. Like it was just, I said, well, what was it? Well, I mean, like, what makes it so? She described, well, I mean, she's just dirty. She's just a dirty player. That's just how she plays. Just blah, 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 blah. I said, let's talk about the facts. Let's talk about what she did. Let's not talk about anything. Let's talk about what she did. When she swung her arm, it almost hit person ZYX in the face, blah, 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 blah. It was just a dirty move. Okay. I said, let's look at person Y, the person you said was bratty. Would you agree that it doesn't have the same connotation as thug? I would. She said, I would. I said, okay, let's examine. Let's run it back. Let's run the tape back. Let's look at what player Y did. Player Y swung her arm briskly. And she may have connected even with her. She swung and swung. I go, what did person Y do? My friend says, she swung her arm. I said, let's put them side by side. We looked at both of them. I said, would you guys agree that those were pretty much the same motion by each player? Everybody's like, yeah, it was. I said, and yet, what is the only difference between these players? They did the same thing. What is the only difference between these players? And then my guy said, a friend of mine said, one was white, one was black. I said, could anybody deny that is the only difference in this instance? And so why would 2 different words be used to describe the same instance? Quiet, absolute silence. I said, my point exactly. My point exactly. The only difference here is ethnicity. Because I believe we're one race, right? So we're the human race. Ethnicity. As my dad used to say, your paint job. We have different paint jobs. But if you cut me, I'm going to bleed. If you cut my white friends, they're going to bleed. If you cut my Latino friends, they're going to bleed. If you shoot my white friends, they're going to bleed. If you shoot my black friends, they're going to bleed. And yet there's still, for some reason, people thinking that one group or ethnicity is superior to the other. We're all humans. We have different cultural experiences. We have different socioeconomic experiences. We have different levels of discriminations heaped upon us. Those are all things that are a result of construct. constructs that we put in place that said, this is better. If you live over here, you're better. If you came from that school, you're better. Like, we set this stuff up all the time and then wonder why we can't sit in a room together and treat people with respect. And here I am sitting amongst friends of different ethnicities when an instance happened where it is pure, absolute, pure racial assignment to the same behavior, absolute same behavior. And everybody in that room said, whoa, whoa. Never realized how much I was doing this. And on both sides, not just the black people, not just the white people, not just the white people, not just the black people. Everybody said, didn't realize how much I was doing this. I said, listen, we think it's cool in the privacy of our friendships and where all this stuff like that. But what's happening is that this is happening and impacting our world in a way that is getting to dangerous levels. The vitriol that I see online in discussions about the WNBA is completely unacceptable. The hero worship that I see of some players and the overprotection of some players when there's nothing egregious going on in the game other than it being a physical game. But when you assign what you believe to be true about black players and what you perceive to be true about certain women, LGBTQ+, when you assign what you perceive to be true about white players, then it becomes a very dangerous place for us as fans. And I just want to share that story with you because it was a real life 7 days ago occurrence where I challenged my friends to take a look in the mirror, to check themselves to see what they are saying and how they are contributing to a society that is becoming increasingly more rude, more dangerous, more disrespectful, to the point that people know they're wrong and they do it anyway. That's my contribution, is constantly raising the bar with the people that I know, with the people that I come in contact with in my broadcast, where people try to engage you in certain things, and this is this, and this, and shouldn't this happen? Like, no. We all have a responsibility to create and co-create the world that we want to live in. So I don't know what's in this for y'all. I don't know who needed to hear this, but you can do something different to change the world that we are creating. You can do something different to change what we're seeing online, and make no mistake about it. What we are seeing online is absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. No player of any ethnicity, no player of any identity should feel threatened by simply engaging in their employment activity, should feel threatened because they are a woman or black or white or from a certain school. No way should that be happening. And each one of us has an opportunity, and I feel an obligation to contribute to a more positive existence for the WNBA. What are your thoughts?
That's all for now. Before you bounce, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and check out the merch.